Well, I just want to give a special thank you to the Cook Solutions Group team for having us. I've been doing this for 11 years now, and from humble beginnings in my college apartment to today, I still can't believe anyone would want to listen to me talk. So thank you all for bearing with me today. I'm going to talk a little bit about more than just who Genea is, right? I'll tell you a little bit about our story and our background, who we serve, but I wanted to talk a little bit about how this evolution from server-based security systems to cloud-based security systems enables so many cost savings and efficiencies for all of you, and how we're leveraging AI to empower our customers to do more with less. So it's not just going to be me giving you a spiel about how awesome Genea is. We're going to talk a little bit more about application security and evolving. Hopefully you'll learn something from the discussion today. Who is Genea? So as I mentioned, been doing this for 11 years. It started with an aha moment in college around visitor management. And we kind of tripped into access control. And from those humble beginnings in college to servicing global enterprise customers around the world, customers like Shopify, Adyen, TransferWise, or I'm trying to use some of the ones in the financial sector for references here. It's been an incredible journey. And for the longest time, we have always been sort of like the crazy guys in the corner of the room screaming about how awesome cloud is and the future is cloud. And I feel like now in 2025, that reality has come true. That vision has become reality. So how did we trip into physical security, right? How did two college kids just go, we're going to build an enterprise access control system? That doesn't happen. Let me tell you. What happened was I had a Door King call box at a place that my family lived, and someone had carved the number to get into the box in the front of the box. And so from my junior year of Christmas in college, I said, why don't we just build an app that can give every one of our guests a unique PIN code? That's how we got into physical security. And from that, launching that with hundreds of apartment buildings, gated communities in the Southeast, they started asking us, hey, can you also do the key cards? And I'm like, hey, well, what's wrong with your key card system? And what we found was people still, taking us into broom closets with Windows laptops running their access control system. They'll blow off the dust and say, this is where I have to add and remove everybody. Sometimes the machine wouldn't even wake up, and they're like, yeah, it does that. So there's a lot of legacy infrastructure management, right? Racking and stacking servers, standing up Windows machines, getting SQL licenses, right? I've seen a lot of heads nod because a lot of scar tissue out there from this. The next thing was just the amount of manual process. So not only were you still managing all the infrastructure and paying for the privilege to do it, but then you're also having to manually, by hand, add and remove everybody, check every event log, build your reports manually. So it's just everything was manual. Oh, I have processes and sticky notes on how to do all this stuff. It was incredibly arcane to someone who had never been in the security industry before. Also, lack of innovation, right? You buy a system, and the best days of those systems are usually the day you bought it, and the slope of depreciation is very steep. But you kind of get stuck with these things, and then they give you one feature release a year, and they go woohoo, and it's probably not something you asked for. So there's just this lack of innovation, and then the lack of integration, right? The access control system is separate from the camera system, which is separate from the alarm system, which is separate from the visitor management system. You have all these disparate point solutions that don't integrate together that make your life a nightmare. So this is really where, I put lack of innovation twice. It's supposed to say integration. I blame Brian for that, because last night on the drive home for dinner, I'm like, Brian, you inspired me to make my presentation so much better, and I started working on it at midnight. So that's your fault. Okay, so why has every software piece of our lives gone from on-prem to the cloud? except for physical security, right? And I think it comes down to, one, switching costs, very high. And that's why, Cook Solutions and I and Jania believe so deeply in the power of open standards, right? Whether it's ONVIF, OSDP, RTSP, right? These open protocols allow customers to participate in the pace of evolution, where proprietary systems lock you in and hold you back from participating in the evolution of the industry. The other thing that has really driven this move to cloud is everybody else realized that the iceberg of cost is so deep when you're racking and stacking every server, when you're patching and maintaining all your infrastructure, when you're having to load and manage all your applications, right? The human capital cost of maintaining all of your physical infrastructure is really an anchor on the operational expenditures of an organization and your brain power, right? All the time you have to spend worrying about, is the machine still running? Does it have the latest patch? Have we updated the firmware? All of this is taking you away from doing your core job, which is maintaining the physical security of your organization. And it also costs you a lot of money. You have extra headcount, you have extra licensing, you have extra equipment to buy. The cloud, right? Why we don't run CRMs on-prem anymore, why we don't run our email servers anymore, is because it gives us the efficiency and frees us to do our core job, right? So yes, we get compared like, oh yeah, the licensing is maybe 10% more than what I'm paying on a per door basis for an on-prem system, but it ignores the deepest parts of the iceberg, which is that organizational cost to run and maintain a system. So the evolution of cloud and physical security has finally started to break through some of those old mindsets. And the other thing that being built in the cloud allows us to, Brian, I'm going to keep picking on you because we had such a great time at dinner last night. But being built in the cloud isn't just like, oh, cool, we're new, we started in AWS. What it really allows you as customers to do is, again, participate in the pace of evolution for the industry. Last year, Jania released 55 new features. That's one a week for all of our customers, right? Whereas, I'm going to pick on a little bit, they had 2. That is a huge difference, and you compound that every year, right? 55 versus 2 for the next 10 years. You're going to wake up in 3 years and have a completely new system that is keeping pace with the constant changing environment that you all have to operate in, right? We can never fully anticipate where the future is going, what are the challenges that you as customers are going to have to deal with. But at least with a cloud-based system, when you call me and say, hey, I need a Pico VMS integration, I can deliver it to you in 8 weeks. So that is the power of cloud. Because I'm not running 2 million lines of code on a single instance that has to be QA'd, and every time you guys say, well, we need this feature. Well, the butterfly effects on a single monolithic code base are infinite, right? You make one change, and it can have all these downstream ripple effects, whereas in a modern cloud-based system, all I have to do is spin up a new EC2 instance in AWS, deploy the code there, QA it against itself, connect the API to the main network, and I'm done. It's so much more efficient to build features, right? We're not geniuses or wizards. We're just doing it in a completely new operating paradigm, right? So that's why cloud is so important. It's about making sure that your systems are future-proofed and can stay up to date with your needs. So the other thing is open, right? So it's cloud-based, it's open, right? Why does non-proprietary matter so much? Well, going back to the early days of Jania, when we were starting, deploying our visitor management system for those early apartment building customers, and they would show us their Vigilon access control system or the Vigilon camera system or the Secure system, the customers that we could never do anything with were the ones that used Secure, because there was all proprietary panels, and they had spent multiple capital budget cycles on installing all this very expensive equipment and paying for the fine integrators and technicians to go do all that work. You can't re-access those budgets. So you get stuck, and then when Secure says, oh, well, you just have to keep renewing with us, despite us never releasing a new feature, so sorry, It's because you're stuck in that capital cycle. That's why we didn't want to create hardware hostages when we built our access control system. We wanted to do it on an open platform. So if we aren't meeting your needs, cool. There's 30 other Mercury-based access control systems that you can go switch to. Like, we're betting on ourselves, and we're keeping the power of choice in your hands. That's why open matters so much. It's just like the 30-day cancellation policy from CSG, which is a very bold move. I applaud them for it. It's a bet that they're going to keep pace with your needs, just like us being built on Mercury.